operations, that was a dilemma that I had to, face back in the day when I was trying to decide, which way to go. Now, as mentioned before, I had already received an opportunity from Marriott to go into their ID program as a housekeeping manager trainee. So I had already received that offer. I was, ready to go. But then later on, I received an opportunity to go into sales from the Sheraton in New Orleans, which was a great property. I mean, coming out of college, going to a property of that magnitude like that right out the gate, man, it was something. So I took this information. I went to my, professor slash mentor, Professor Glenn Voss, and I mentioned this to him. And what he said, and the 10 words that he told me probably changed, and I guess I mentioned this before, it changed my trajectory as to where I was going to go. He said to me, and this is what I heard, later on he told me he didn't say this, but this is what I heard. He said, go into sales because you will die in operations. Huh? Go into sales because you will die in operations. And I was like, So I took that as a challenge. That's what I heard. Okay. I took that as a challenge. And one, to prove him wrong that I could, survive in operations. Two, I really didn't know hotels. I really didn't. I had never worked in a hotel before. So if I took a position as a sales manager, what would I be selling? So the learning curve would have been that much greater, right? So I needed to go into operations first in order to learn how, kind of like, as an example, how departments, feed off of each other or complement each other, if you will. Front desk needs housekeeping. Housekeeping needs engineering. Engineering needs maintenance. I mean, all those things kind of, matter, and, you can't have one without the other. So I went into, what position you think I took? I went into operations because I needed to learn everything, the ins and outs of a hotel. And as I look back on it today, there will be no Russell of hotels if I went into sales. It'd just be Russell Edmond, which would still be fine, I guess. But, I would not be as well-rounded if I went straight into sales. And then years later, I had this conversation with Professor Voss, and he said, I didn't say that. I said, I never said that. He said, what I was saying is that you were better suited to go into sales at that time, right? He said, based on what I knew about you, based on the class that you took with me, a lot of his classes were, or most of his classes were kind of sales, marketing, presentations, kind of like that. He said, so based on what I knew about you, you've been better suited for that. But you would have excelled in anything that you did. But he said, but if you needed that for fuel, then that's fine. You turned out all right.